Never know who's going to drop by.
Very excited to talk to Jill Sorenson from Comcast Sportsnet right now. Jill, how are you?
I'm great.
Beat reporter for the Cats.
Absolutely.
It's awesome.
This is awesome. This is like a college atmosphere.
Right?
This is like a college hockey game. It's like so cool.
I've never been to one, but I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
I think that's pretty cool. So, Jill, what are you seeing right now? What's your observations of this game so far?
Well, at first I was just kind of trying to see like the line changes and see who was playing with whom. And, you know, there's a few guys that Bruce has pointed out all week that I wanted to see. So that once I got kind of the idea of who was playing with whom, I was looking at individual performances, and I would kind of just watch a guy for his shift.
So what's your assessment so far?
Well, so far, you know, Marcus Johansson, who is one of the guys that they talk about, he could, you know, be with the club, basically, with the Caps this year. Super fast, great stick handling, great moves. He has that, like, the old Nick Backstrom in him, where you want him to be, like, a little more physical and go for the gusto just a little bit more. He'll learn that. He's so young. So that was great to see. Cody Eakin is another guy that they're really high on. His ice presence, it's like one of those intangibles. I know you, LaVar, can like relate to this. When a guy steps on the field or on the ice, there's just something about him, and you get it. And I think Eakin has that, and that's the first time I've seen it because it's in like a game atmosphere. And, that was great. I mean, he's a great leader. He's a great player. So that was cool to see kind of that intangible. I was watching Joe Finley because Coach has mentioned him a few times.
He's pretty big.
He's huge, right?
He's pretty big.
He made one error. I was like, ooh, where he like kind of tried to clear
knocked it in front of the
net. Yeah, you're like, oh, not supposed to do that. But other than that, I mean, he looks pretty good too. He had a couple good hits. So, yeah.
Jill, can you talk a little bit about, I mean, you're talking about the young talent on this team, and you got guys like Carlson and Alsner and Neuvert that are already, you know, they've contributed to the team. And, you know, the motto last year was, like, we're not going to be satisfied unless we have a Stanley Cup. And because what happened in the playoffs happened, everybody was disappointed. They're going to be really, really good for, like, a decade.
Yeah.
So should it be more like, let's preach a little patience this season, or do you think they'll have that, look, if anything other than a cup, we're going to be disappointed? They're going to be good for a long time. I think Caps fans would be willing to wait. What do you think?
There it is.
Yeah,
there it is.
Throwing hands.
Oh, yeah.
I'm surprised it took this long, by the way, for the first fight. I can't see what it is. My eyes are horrible. It's
I think there goes.
haymakers.
He's going under. Oh, he's going over top.
Do you ever wish that you could have done that on the football field, by the way?
No. Never. Never.
It's Trevor Bruce. So, there he goes. Nice. He's a big one, too.
It looks like he's bleeding.
There's a lot of size on the ice right now.
Yeah.
There's some big boys.
I can't even remember what you asked.
I was asking about the fact they have all this young talent. We're talking about the guys that you're watching, what they were watching on here today. Talking about guys that have already contributed to this squad.
Yeah.
Is patience something that the Capitals should be preaching?
Probably, but I don't think it's necessary. I mean, these guys are good. They know they're good. Frankly, these guys are super ticked off right now. Super ticked off, and opposed to, you know, the last couple years coming in the off season, coming back, they were hungry. They wanted to do something. This time, they're ticked off. This is a different edge to this team that we haven't seen yet, and it's an edge they need because, as you saw in the playoffs and even in some of the regular season games, I mean, they need to be physical. They are an awesomely talented team, fast. You got the European type of style a lot of times, but they need to be physical, especially if they're going to compete with the Flyers and you know, these other Eastern Conference teams that will take it to you. So I think that's an edge that they need, is to be ticked off, and I think that they can do it. You know, if it doesn't happen this year, it'll happen next year.
Okay, but they're getting closer to it.
Yeah, and I don't think they need to be patient because they can do it now. It's a matter of harnessing that and making it work.
All right, now I got to switch gears on you. We got to switch and go into a different arena, even though you are the beat reporter for Comcast Sportsnet for the Washington Capitals. Are you nervous where I'm going? Are you nervous?
A little bit.
Okay, you should. All right, so with everything that has been taking place over the last couple of days with this reporter in New York, obviously, all right, I had to do it. I mean,
is this from all the years I did this to you, by the way?
Yes.
Turnabout is fair play.
All right, so I talked about how respectable that women were that I worked with, and I didn't bring up your name, but I mean, I'm sitting here, I'm like, you know what? I should have brought up Jill. I brought up Sage. I brought up Kelly Johnson, obviously yourself. I worked very closely with you guys for a lot of years. What is your take on what took place there? And I mean, obviously there were statements made by Clint Portis. What's your interpretation of it? Obviously, being a respected, hard-working individual at your craft and in this media, workplace. What's your take on it?
My take is it's a non-issue. Like I don't think that she had an issue with it. I think it was like people around her. She is a certain type of reporter for a certain type of station.
Right.
Does her thing. Fine. Like it's a non-issue. It's only an issue because other people brought it up.
Okay.
Which I just don't think it's been an issue for so many years. I mean,
right. She's been there for a lot of years.
What about what Clinton said, Jill? I mean, what do you make it when someone like Clinton Portis, who has a name that big in this town?
Listen, Clinton is Clinton. Clinton's a goofball. Like, he's going to say what he wants to say. It's kind of like, I don't know. I just brush it off. Like,
so you didn't take too much offense to it?
No, because I don't think twice about it.
Right.
It's like, whatever. This is what we do.
Right.
This is our job.
Right.
It's weird and uncomfortable for men and women.
Right.
Like, that's just the way it is. And it stinks and it's ridiculous. But, like, it's a work office sort of thing.
Pete Prisco said they should just shut down the locker rooms and they should bring players out like they do in college in their pads, all sweaty afterwards. Is that a solution? Do you like that? Do you think it should stay the way it is?
They can do whatever they want to do. It doesn't bother me.
You're not hung up on it at all.
You have a job to do.
It's not going to affect the way I do my job.
Right.
I talk to guys. The thing I pride myself on is being respected by the players and the coaches. And whether it's talking to them in a locker room or talking to them on a podium, I don't care. It's going to be the same relationship.
Right. Real quick, last question. It's so great having you on. So great seeing you.
Awesome.
Obviously, congratulations on the new edition.
Thank you.
You look good. So, what's your prediction for the year? Obviously, you got to do Redskins and then you got to do Caps.
Okay. Wow. Redskins, I'm going to be like super political and just say 8-8 because I'm not really sure.
All right.
I like Shanahan.
How can you be?
Yeah. There's a lot of games in the NHL, so don't give us a game total.
No, I can't do that. I don't think my math is that good.
How far you think they'll make it this year?
I think they'll go to the finals this year.
Okay.
I'm actually hoping that they'll go to the finals this year. I think they will, but I think it's more of a hope.
Okay.
So I'm not sure they can win it. Whether they do it or not will be interesting.
All right.
Jill, thank you so much. Give out your Twitter so all of our listeners can follow you.
Jill at CSN.
There it is. Follow her on Twitter.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Good to see you,
Thank
Jill.
you.
Jill Sorenson from Comcast Sportsnet, broadcasting live.
Heavyweights on today.
Kettler, Iceplex, LaVar, Arrington, and Chad Dukes.